multiplying fractions. Number 1, we have negative 2/5 times negative 2/3. When you're multiplying fractions, see if anything in the numerator will simplify with anything in the denominator, and then just multiply straight across. You don't have to have a common denominator. There's nothing for you to change. You just multiply. Numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. In my numerator, I have 2's, and in my denominators, I have 5 and 3. Nothing will simplify, so I just multiply straight across. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 3 is 15. And a negative times a negative, remember our triangle, a negative times the negative is a positive, so my answer is 4/15. When you're multiplying fractions that have a mixed number, like 5 1/2 times 3 3/4, you want to turn your mixed number into an improper fraction. You do this by multiplying the numerator times the whole number, and then the denominator times the whole number, then you add the numerator. So 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. Keep your denominator. Do the same thing with your other fraction. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. Keep your denominator. Then you multiply numerator by numerator. 15 times 11 is 165. 2 times 4 is 8. When you have an improper fraction, you need to turn it back into a mixed number. To do that, you divide. The top number goes inside the house. 8 will go into 16 2 times. 8 will go into 5 0 times. So your whole number is the number on top. Your numerator is your remainder. Your denominator stays the same. And a positive times a positive is a positive. Number 3, we have negative 3 1/2 times 6. When you're multiplying by a whole number, you need to turn the whole number into a fraction and turn the mixed number into an improper fraction. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Keep your negative sign. Keep your denominator. To turn a whole number into a fraction, you put it over 1. So I'm multiplying negative 7/2 times 6 over 1. I'm going to look and see if anything will simplify. 7 will not simplify by 2 or 1. 6 will simplify by 2. So I need to look and see what number will go into 2 and 6. That is 2. So I'm going to divide 2 by 2. That's 1. And 6 by 2 is 3. All I'm doing is simplifying before I multiply. That way I have smaller numbers to deal with. You don't have to do that. You can just multiply straight across, but if you just multiply straight across, you're going to have bigger numbers to deal with. So if you simplify first, you'll have smaller numbers. 7 times 3 is 21. 1 times 1 is 1. And anything over 1, you can just keep the numerator. It's just going to be a whole number. And a negative times a positive is a negative. So that is negative 21. Number 4. Negative 12 times 1 over 12. I want to turn 12 into a fraction. In order to do that, I'm going to put it over 1. 12 over 1 times 1 over 12. I look to see if anything will simplify. 12 and 12 will both simplify by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 12 divided by 12 is 1. So now I have 1 times 1 on top and 1 times 1 on bottom, which simplifies to just 1. And a negative times a positive is a negative. So when you're multiplying these, go ahead and multiply like you normally do, and then determine what is your sign. If it's a negative times a positive, if your signs are different, your answer is going to be negative. If it's a negative times a negative and your signs are the same, then it's going to be positive. If it's a positive times a positive, your answer is going to be positive. So number 5 is negative 25 over 35 times negative 3 and 5/15. We have a negative times a negative, so we already know our answer is going to be positive. Okay? I'm going to convert the mixed number into an improper fraction. 15 times 3 is 45. 45 plus 5 is 50. I'm going to look to see if anything will simplify. 25 and 35 will both simplify by 5. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 50 and 15 will both simplify by 5. 50 divided by 5 is 10. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So now all my numbers are simplified, and I just multiply. 5 times 10 is 50. 7 times 3 is 21. A negative times a negative is a positive. To convert this into a mixed number, I'm going to divide. Top number goes inside the house. 21 will go into 52 times with 8 left over. So the number on... Alright, number 6. Negative 5/12 times 9 over 10. There's nothing to change, so I go on and see if I can simplify anything. On the top I have 5. On the bottom I have 12 and 10. 5 and 10 will simplify because 5 will go into both of those. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I do the same thing with 9. I have 9 on top and 12 on bottom. 3 will go into both of those. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now I can multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. And a negative times a positive is a negative. Alright, number 7. 1/6 times 12 over 17. I'm going to simplify first. 1 doesn't simplify anything, so I'm going to go on to my 12. I have 12 on top and 6 on the bottom. I know that 6 will go into both 12 and 6, so I'm going to divide these numbers to make them smaller. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Now I multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 17 is 17. My answer is 2 over 17. Number 8. 7/12 times negative 15. I'm going to put negative 15 over 1 to make it a fraction. Then I'm going to see if anything will simplify. I have a 12 on bottom and a 15 on top. I know that 3 will go into both of those numbers. So I'm going to divide 12 by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. 4 times 1 is 4. To turn this into a mixed number, I divide. I put the top number inside the house. 4 will go into 35 8 times with 3 left over. So 8 is my whole number. The remainder is my numerator, and I keep the denominator. Negative 8 and 3/4. Number 9, negative 4 times 3/5. I'm going to put negative 4 over 1 to make it a fraction. I have 4 and 3 on top and 1 and 5 on bottom. None of those numbers will simplify, so I just multiply. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 will go into 12 2 times with 2 left over. So my answer is negative 2 and 2/5. eighths.